Hi, I'm Sam Candy. Welcome to Sustain Talks. Today I am joined by Muryel Boulay, Sustainability Consultant, Cambridge Institute for Sustainability Leadership alumni, B Leader, Terra Institute Certified Partner and Future Fit Foundation Certified Professional, fellow partner of CSR-Accreditation, for whom she also delivers their in-house CSR training. She's also a Senior Environmental Sustainability Consultant for Scala and a very good friend of mine, and I'm delighted to have you here. Your expertise is phenomenal and I'm grateful to have you here. So welcome, Muryel. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much, Sam. It's a long introduction, so thank you for that.
I had to include it all because you really are so experienced in sustainability. I forgot to mention that you've been in the food industry for 20 years as well. But, you know, your sustainability credentials are phenomenal. And I think it'd be really good to understand more from you what sustainability means to you.
A huge lot. That's the short answer. I think sustainability is something that we should almost stop talking about and do more. I think there's a huge amount of talking, a huge amount of writing, and we severely needs to cramp up, the doing and the translating into actions. What is quite heartwarming is that there's so many startups and people that really start, are creating business purely to generate sustainability activities, whether it's to, find solutions to capture carbon or to really change the economy and what we call the system to stop just plundering the planet and making people so unhappy. So for me, sustainability, it's a 360 effort. It's as much about people as it is about planet. I think we are in the poo-poo that we are in from a climate perspective, because we've got huge amount of unhappiness and poverty and so much discrepancies between the have and the have-nots that it's a system change that we need. And by sustainability we most definitely need to approach and tackle the people aspect, because we would never save ourselves otherwise. It needs to be people and planet.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's sort of whole social responsibility. We often talk about that holistic approach that, you can't be sustainable if you aren't doing good for your workplace or in the community or with your charity partnerships, right?
So, yeah, I think it's, if you go back to pure business, you want your business to thrive. Your business will not thrive if the community in which it operates doesn't thrive.
Yeah.
And how do you have a thriving society and community? Is you have people that feel that, they're contributing, they are, paid enough so that they can have a decent life. They can, secure the future of their kids, provide them with education. So it's creating a virtuous cycle where you allow everybody and everything to thrive, and therefore including your business. So responsible business is about making sure that your activity as a business does generate wealth for all. And when I talk about wealth, it's not necessarily only monetary wealth, but knowledge wealth, development wealth, education wealth, just well-being. That's the only way, because we've seen, and people in business have seen, people are just leaving their job because they don't feel they're treated properly, because they don't feel that they can flourish and reach their potential within the limiting context of the business they are in, and they say, sorry, I'm going to do something else,
Yeah.
And I think it's the alarm bell to say we need to change the way we interact with, what is the concept of an employee,
Yeah, I think that's so true, especially, you look at this term, the great big resignation, and it really is happening. I mean, it happened to me. It's why I'm here now. I just wanted more purpose. And I think so many people are just feeling they want to work for a company that is doing good. So where do you think that businesses should really be focused at the moment then?
So definitely there's a people aspect to it. It's massive, otherwise you're not going to have anybody in your business to run the business. So do take care of your people and ask them what it means. Yeah. Don't think that you have the solution. That would be my first advice. But the other critical aspect is your supply chain. I think it's, there's a lot of claims for the moment saying, oh, we carbon neutral, we zero thingy, we better than great, and etc. However, a lot of businesses have got no clue about what's going on in the supply chain. Yeah. And you know what? That's where the bulk of their business impact is taking place. Yeah. A standard business model in the UK is you're a brand owner, you contract everything out. A business might be 5 people, that you truly employ, but everything else is outsourced. Your manufacturing, your services, anything. And therefore, it's really this responsibility. We just talked about responsibility, social responsibility, but it's your responsibility as a business to make sure that the people you work with are doing the right thing. Yeah. You can't say, oh, it's not me, it's them. No, they're doing it because they're selling to you, and therefore you need to work with them so that they apply the same values and principle than you are. Otherwise, you are guilty as charged.
Yeah.
So I think it's really encouraged. The main focus should be making sure that you create, forgive the word, but a responsible ecosystem around your business. Yeah, engage with your stakeholders, make sure that they share your value, work with them instead of closing the door and saying you're not good enough, is make them good enough. Yeah. And it's something that I know you've heard, Sam, and that we talked a lot about in the CSR accreditation training, is collaboration. You need to collaborate with your supply chain. You need to build partnership. We need to move away from the transactional relationship. And to do more. Yeah,
I really, really believe in that. And actually, it's a big thing about the conference, pulling so many people together to collaborate, to help businesses to do good. You mentioned at the beginning of that a lot of talk about getting to net zero. What are your views on that and what that means and the challenges there?
So I'm going to start by saying this is the underlying thing, is net zero is important, but it's not the only thing that is important. One, if you allegedly achieve net zero, it's not the end of the journey, it's just the beginning. And it grates with me, I have to confess, because this is a very grand claim, and more often than not, the science behind this claim is a bit dodgy. It's not because you planted 10 trees that you're net zero. Your 10 saplings are not absorbing anything for the moment. And, by the time, your business might be closed by the time they absorb enough carbon for you to claim net zero. And my concern is about the net zero concept is it assumes that you have means to absorb more than you release in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. Whereas for me, the critical part is to reduce and eliminate. So, yeah, it's important. Net zero is important, and it's important that people are committing to it. But be scientific about it, have strong data behind it. And, stop cutting trees rather than thinking that planting new ones will do the trick. It's not doing the trick at all. And it's and the net zero should be extending much to larger remit than the greenhouse. I never say it properly, sorry, the greenhouse gas emissions, because net zero should be in terms of resources. It should apply to circular economy principles. It should apply to, you know, everything. So for the moment, the media are so focused on carbon when everything else needs to be part of the picture.
Yeah, it's a much bigger picture, isn't it? And that's why I say you just can't focus on one part. It has to be all of it. But I think that reduction, it's really important, and where to start that measurement from. You know, any organization that says, oh, we got to net zero in the last couple of years because we stopped flying, it just doesn't add up, right?
It really doesn't add up. And that's, for me, that's the danger, and of these carbon credit principles. You know, that is very controversial. We won't get out of this mess by buying carbon credit. There is not enough carbon credit around. You know, we need to stop emitting. That's the only way to you know, stick to this 1.5 target. And let's be realistic. We are at 1.3 already. So it's really a shift of mindset. I think I've mentioned already, it's about system change, because, you know, people think that the solution is to, you know, consume a more sustainable product. Well, actually, I firmly believe that we need to consume less. And review the way what consumption means, you know, because otherwise we're just shifting the resource plundering, but it's still plundering, you know?
No, absolutely. But it's still important to plant trees and forests and rewild
the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about that offsetting. Your views on, when you say the right way, what do you mean the right way? Because often people might not understand that.
I'm very wary of this plethora of websites that says, oh, we're planting trees for you. You can plant the wrong tree in the wrong place and have, you know, the sapling dead in 3 months, and nobody looks after them, and that's a waste of time, trees, etc. You know, I read an article a few weeks ago about a heartbreaking story in Dubai where they planted millions of trees, and, you know, there might be only 10 left standing because nobody cared about them, because it was just a big PR exercise and a waste of money. It was very wasteful. So my concern about offsetting is it's almost you give the responsibility of your emission to something else and you wash your hands of it. And also offsetting implies new things, whereas actually if you preserve an ancient forest, the capacity of that ancient forest to absorb carbon is much greater than planting a new forest. You know, it's about understanding the bigger picture. So my concern about offsetting is it removes the responsibility from the emitter to reduce the emissions. So I don't like the word at all. At all.
And I guess if anyone's going to do it, that they really need to look into the company that they're doing it with, and, you know, be really sure about where they're planting, what type of trees they're planting, if they are, or are they protecting forests. Like, delve in deep, don't just do it, put a stamp on.
And also whatever so I understand it's actually reducing your emissions to zero is very difficult to do, you know. But there's a lot to be done about, you know, where do you source your energy from? What happens to the waste in your organization? Can it be transformed back into energy? You know, engage in the circular economy so that, you know, that creates some energy as well. You know, there's so many ways to reduce it. You know, what prevents you from putting, I don't know, solar panel on the warehouse that you're using, etc. So, and offsetting should be there to help you bridge the gap.
Yeah.
But just for that, and do it with people who are genuine. And also what I feel very strongly about in those offsetting is go to schemes that are validated. You know, there's a gold standard, but go to local schemes. Go and see it. Yeah. Go and see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, you know, so that it brings you people with you, so that it becomes real. It's not something, it's very important to help, you know, developing countries, and you give them, you know, non-polluting cooking devices, etc. It's very, very important. But again, it's offshore. It's away from you. Whereas if you support the local rewriting place, you can go and walk in the place, and then you connect with it. You know, I think for me, the situation we are in is a big part of it is the disconnection between people and nature. You need to bring people back in nature so that they understand better. Sorry, I'm going off piece.
No, I posted something last night about this metaverse that is, you know, we're trying to push people deeper inside our machines and just get outside and, you know, go for a walk and be with nature. And you know, I really agree with you. And I find, like, at the end of the day, I'm so drained from always being on screen. When I see people in person, and you know, it makes such a difference. I think that's such an important point. I'm just going to switch tracks a bit because I really want to hear about you're a B leader, and one that's always mentioned to me. Everyone says when they talk about B leaders, they mention your name. So tell us about your experience as a B leader, and what do you think makes a great B Corp?
So first of all, being a B leader is such a great it's a great title, in the sense that it opens doors to work with people who are so motivated to be a force for good. So it's suddenly you become a facilitator for people who already have their heart and mind at the right place, and you just, you know, give them little nudges in the right direction so they do more good. So that opens doors to fabulous businesses. So that's the first thing about B leader. For me, what makes a good B Corp is, I'm not going to quote, but I'm going to mention what Paul Polman says about, you know, what makes a truly good leader nowadays is the courage. So, you know, B Corp businesses do have courageous leaders because you have to do things differently, because you have to look at how you generate profit, because you have to look at what you do with your profit, because you need to break the mold, because you need to engage with your stakeholders in a different way, because you need to, look about it. It's not about becoming wealthy. It's about how do you redistribute the wealth of your business in a way that benefits all. So I think it's, being a B leader is a privilege because you work with fabulous people, and a strong B Corp organization will have a strong mission and the entire engagement of their workers internally and external stakeholders to make it work in a certain way, you know, everybody being a force for good.
Yeah.
And the last thing about B Corps is there's always a certain level of activism. Yeah. It's not about, oh, I'm B Corp and that's it, I'm done. It's talk about it, you know, bring people on board, tell everybody about how good you are and how good they can be. That's the beauty of B Corp.
Yeah, and I guess the companies that are going in for it, it's quite a long process, but that's also the importance I see when companies celebrate that they've been awarded their B Corp, that it's quite a big thing, because, you know, it takes time and effort, and to put that time and effort in, you wouldn't do that unless you really believed in the cause, right?
Totally. And also, you know, all good things come with effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth anything.
No. No.
So
Exactly.
it's not easy. It's very stringent. They have a very strong standard team. You're being challenged on everything that you claim. It's but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because you feel, if it was easy, what I love, to get in getting that stage of the process is the pride.
Yeah.
Rightly so. They've done it,
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. You're also a partner to CSR-Accreditation, as am I, and you deliver their training expertly. Being part of that, you must see a lot of companies go through CSR accreditation, and I've seen some of them, but some of them are just going above and beyond. Those gold accredited companies, when you see the effort that they go to and the care, what for you makes a gold accredited business when it comes to CSR accreditation?
Well, the difference is there's not that much difference in terms of the type of companies, the characteristic compared to B Corp organization. I think CSR as a framework, it gives the opportunity, because it's an open framework, it gives the opportunity to companies to really document all the good things that they do. And I think, like you, I've seen, beautiful, even sole traders applications where there is no question about how much the heart is involved in the process and how thorough, people are in everything that they do. I think, a gold standard for CSRA is a company that really has taken the time to review all the processes, all the activity, and making sure that social value is at the heart of it, and that environment impact is at the heart of it. It demonstrates. I think recently there was somebody who was it their third gold accreditation or second, I can't remember, showing that you don't enter a CSR accreditation scheme just for 1 year. It's, remember that quote, puppy is not just for Christmas. Well, CSRA is not just for 3 years, it's for the long term, and that's really important. Is also, you enter a movement, you enter a new community of people who want to do good, and that's how it's the snowball effect.
Yeah, it really is. It's a lovely community of people, and a great organization, but often for some companies they see this as a tick box exercise and it goes wrong. You've seen and experienced and been, where it's gone wrong before. What do you think those biggest mistakes are? Where have you seen it go wrong? Have you got any examples you could share?
Well, if we remain generic for now, I think the biggest mistake that we're all seeing, and it is being more regulated nowadays, is claiming too much and do too little. It's about this infamous claim that you see everywhere: carbon neutral. Really? Or sorry, or this. I hate this word now. Is we all natural? Yeah, natural what? What naturally stupid? What naturally what? It's it's really it's about making sure that what you claim you can substantiate, and then really that's the key message, as much in B Corp as it is in CSRA, is what are you claiming and how can you evidence it? Because the essence of sustainability is transparency, is honesty, is integrity, and therefore when you claim and you've got nothing behind your claim, well then that doesn't work. It's not, you get caught. And I think that's important as well, in terms of companies going claiming fancy things and they get caught. And I think it's beautiful. That's one of the well, I'm not a big fan of social media, but I think that's one of the benefits of social media. Is you can no longer, I'm going to remain polite, overclaim and get away with it.
No,
Because
right.
people do catch you, because people do investigate and have a look, and they will expose you if you claim too much. And sometimes people go overboard, and suddenly they like they never stop when they should. But it's important to feel strong in your claim and to have evidence to support your claim. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that companies are making. The other one that I want to mention is people, for example, we talked about net zero, and they say, oh, that's it, we've done net zero now, we're good. And it's stopping, it's not challenging the business more. Okay, so what else can we do? Can we promote what can we do to save biodiversity? What can we do about our water? What can we do about our people? It's not sitting on your laurel. I think that's another mistake as well that you see.
Yeah, it's beyond net zero, isn't it? Obviously, also the Green Claims Code, the legislation, that's going to mean a lot for businesses that, not just getting caught out on social media and being called out, but obviously there's there's that to think of as well. Can you explain a bit more about what that means for businesses?
Yeah, and I think it's really it's actually very important, and it goes back to what we were talking about a second ago. Is the idea is when you buy something and it says natural, well, it's to have evidence that it's natural. More and more the claims are today about only 2 grams of carbon by gram of product, or etc. Is it's the legislation now is challenging you to provide scientific data behind your claim, and not mislead consumers in believing that they are buying a virtuous service or goods, whereas actually you're killing puppies in the background. So it's really protecting consumers and customers and making sure that the claims are substantiated so that it's not misleading. And I think it's really, really important, because in a positive way, sustainability sells. And therefore everybody wants to go on this bandwagon. However, not everybody wants to do the work. And I think, obviously I'm on that side of the mirror, where I want people who do the work to be, rewarded for the work they do, and therefore be allowed to have genuine claims. But if you don't do the work, well, sorry, it's not available. And I think it's very important.
Yeah. An interesting last few years with COVID, with lockdown. You work from home, I work from home. But have there been any really big lessons that you've learned over the last few years?
Yeah, and again, personal experience, and I know it applies to most of my clients, is how wasteful we've been. How wasteful we've been. Suddenly you are home. A lot of people couldn't go anywhere, so you have to fill your time with something that is meaningful, and Netflix is not meaningful. Sorry, it doesn't qualify. It's got its place, but it's not meaningful. So many people decided and realized that they've got time to learn a new skill and learn a new craft, but also a lot of people starting cooking. And realizing that, the amount of food waste they were generating and the amount of plastic they were putting in the bins because they were buying, ready meals as opposed to cooking. I think it's, for me, it has been, actually, I can make that myself. I don't need to buy it with plastic around it. And then if I make it myself, I put it in a reusable container that I can bring with me if I travel, or I can eat it the following day if I don't, And it's also, awareness about your environment and your impact, because you're not running away from it. We were in a home for a year without moving. You could see your impact in the house. You could see the amount of bins. It was not somebody else putting it out for you every day. It was yourself. I think it's an awareness that that came with staying put.
I totally agree. I'm really pleasantly surprised on how little I need to be happy and to enjoy life. A good book or a nice walk, or I totally agree. My final question, I always like to ask this, but who inspires you to continue to do what you do?
So my answer is going to be very personal, Sam. Is my family went through a tragedy a year ago. My nephew, who was 22-year-old, got killed at work by a piece of equipment that was not built to, safety norms, and the few safety devices that was on the equipment had been disabled by the employee. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else. And that's why I put a lot of emphasis on people. It's because the least you can do for people is to, allow them to go back home alive, and that's my main inspiration.
Yeah.
I don't think that any kid of 20-year-old should die in these conditions, and that's my main motivator. So it's not a grand name.
No, I think
it's Adam.
It's beautiful, and I think it's important, and I'm so sorry for your loss. That's very heartwarming and very inspirational to continue doing the amazing work that you do, and all of the companies that you really do help. And it is such a pleasure to be in your circle and to work with you. So thank you so much for your time, and we're going to see you at the Responsible Futures Conference as one of our speakers, and I can't wait to hear you speak there. But thank you, Muryel. Have a wonderful day, and really good to speak to you.
The same. Thanks a lot for your time. Okay. It was lovely talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.